Okay, 12.4 law of sines. Let's go through this worksheet. So with this, we're gonna need a calculator. I have one over here, and we want to make sure we're in degrees. So everything we're doing here, you could see is in degrees. So you go to mode, switch over to degrees if not already done so, then you can get out. Okay, so remember, law of sines is all about. Oh, first question to find the area. So not law of sines. It's gonna be the area formula. Area formula is 1/2 AB sine of C. Now the key thing here is A and B are sides, and C is an angle. It's a capital C. So I always like to say, and the other thing is that the letters don't mean anything. It's just 3 letters. What really matters is these are 2 sides, and that's the angle in between. Right, so if I'm doing this one right here, it's perfect. Right, here's my 2 sides. Here's my angle between. So area is going to be 1/2, side 16, other side 20, and then sine of 52 degrees. So I'm going to put that into our calculator, which I have here. So 1/2 or 0.5 times 16 times 20 times sine of 52. And I get 126.1 with the nearest tenth, like it says. 126.1. Roughly. So there we go. That's that one. The next one here. So now here's where this thing comes in handy, right? So it's 2 sides and the angle between's the key. Because right here I have 2 angles. So which angle do I use? Well, here's my side, here's my other side, and that's the angle between. So there's going to be 1/2, 8, 10, sine of 113. And multiply all that together, I get 36.8. To save you time, I'm not going to show all the calculator calculations. So next problem, now we have to use law of sines. Find, and for ABC, find C to the nearest hundred. So we want to find this side. Remember, law of sines is all about law of sines, which is A over sine of A equals B over sine of B equals C over sine of C. Or you can flip it upside down if you want. It's all about pairs. So you want to find a pair that fills out one of these, and then set equal to what you want to find. So in this case, I have both the A's. I have angle A and I have side A right across from it. So I have 15 over sine of 77 equals, well, since I want sine C, that goes with angle 23. And then to solve this, we'll just multiply both sides by sine of 23. I'll put this in the calculator so you can see this one. So it's going to be, let's clear this first, sine of 23 times 15 divided by sine of 77. And I get 6.0. So the 6. Again, we're going to nearest 100 this time, my fault. 6.02 based on what we have. So now we're going to nearest 100th. Okay, so remember when I do squiggly lines, this means approximately. Not the biggest deal in the world, but just so you know where I'm coming from. This one, find the measure of angle B. So I'm trying to find this angle. So again, you want to find the the pairs of sides that you have. So you have both angle and side, and that's right here. C, right? I have angle C and I have side C. I don't have angle A or anything with side A. So we're going to do C and C and B and B. So angle C with side C, 45 sine of 35 equals, and then we have 23 with sine of B. Now, so this one's a little different than the last one, since I have what missing is the angle. So let's cross multiply this time. I'm going to get 45 sine of B equals 23 sine of 35. Then divide by 45. So I get sine of B equals 23 times sine of 35 over 45. Now to get rid of the sine, since all we want to be, so we have to do inverse sine here. So we're going to take the inverse sine of both sides, or the sine arc sine of both sides, you could say. These will cancel out, and I get b equals that. Now if you don't have a calculator, right now you just leave it at that, that's fine. Lets me know you know what you're doing. But if we have a calculator, why not just plug it all in? So let me do the inside part first. I think it's a little easier if we do it that way. So 23 times sine of 35, close parenthesis, divided by 45. And then I get this decimal that's less than 1. That's good. If I had something bigger than 1, I couldn't do it. It'd be no triangle. So now all we have to do is the inverse sine of that. So second sine. Select my answer. Hit enter. So I get about 17.5. We're going to 0.05. Going nearest hundredth. So there you go. That's the measure of angle B. That's how you use the inverse sine. Next one. Find angle B to the whole degree. So it's a similar question. We want to find angle B. B goes with 22. So I'm going to have 22 over sine of B. Then we use our pairs. It's actually the same pair. It's the same question. No, similar, but not the same question. Just making sure. Angle C against what we have. So 63 over sine of 48. Cross multiply. I'm going to get 22 sine of 48 equals 63 sine of B. Divide by 63. And then I'll do inverse sine of both sides. And if I put this in my calculator, we're going to get B is approximately 15. So around there. Again, I'm gonna skip some of the calculator steps so you don't have to watch me do it over and over again. Solve the SSSA triangle. Indicate whether the given measurements result in no triangle, one triangle, or two triangles. The two triangle case. So if you remember what I said in the video, it's anytime you have two sides and one angle, you might have 0 triangles, 1 triangle, or 2 triangles. The easiest way to solve it is solve for the first angle like you normally would. If you can't solve it, 0 triangles, you're done. And then once you solve it, you assume there's 2 triangles, and we'll talk about how to do that. The easiest way to do this is just go whatever angle you find, do 180 minus that angle. And then if that works, if that makes a triangle, we'll talk about how to do that. Then you get 2 triangles. If not, you only have 1 triangle. So start here. I like to draw it. Ish. I should use the tools given to me. So here's A, B, C. Side A, which is opposite angle A, would be 7. Side B would be 9. And angle B is 49. So again, what we do what we always do is like, okay, I have a pair. I have the B's. So I'm going to have, let's talk triangle 1 here. I'm going to do 9 over sine of 49 to 49 equals, well, only other thing I have are the A's here. So we'll start with the A's. 7 over sine of A. Let's solve this. Cross multiply. You get 9 sine of A equals 7 sine of 49. Divide by 9. Sine of A equals 7 sine of 49. Divided by 9. Inverse sine of both sides. And I get A equals 35.9. So that's my first angle, 35.9. So let's talk about the two how is the 2 triangle? Well, once you find your first angle, I'll do it right here. Is there 2 triangles? Well, for sure, like that works. I was able to solve it. That's gonna be one. There's for sure 1 triangle. It's not 0 triangles. There's at least 1 triangle. So how do you find the second triangle? Well, we do what I said here. So you find your first angle, do 180 minus that thing. So we're gonna do 180 minus 35.9. So 1/8 minus 35.9. And I get 144.1. Alright, so if I was going to draw a second triangle, what do I have? I have 49, I have 7, I have 9, and now I have 144.1. You see the problem there? This is too big. If I already have 49 and I have 144 as a second triangle, it's way too big. It's bigger than 180. So that's not possible. There's only one triangle in this case, right? You find your first angle. After you find your first angle, do 180 minus that angle. If it works, if that could make a triangle, then you have two triangles. If it doesn't, not possible. You just have one triangle. So we have one triangle here. Let's finish the rest of this one triangle out. The rest of it's easy. I gotta find angle C. All we do is do 180 minus those two things we already have. And that'll get me 95.1. So now I have all my angles. If I want to find the missing side, let's do law of sides again. So we're going to do 9. I always like to use the one that was given to us. It's a little easier. Equals C over sine of 95.1. Multiply both sides by 95. Sine of 95.1. And I get C equals 11.9. So there we go. We solved this one triangle right here. Right? Found all the angles, found all the sides. That's solved. There was only one triangle. Right? We were able to solve it. And then how do you find the second triangle? You do 180 minus the angle you found, which I did right here. I got 144.1. If you try to make a triangle with that and they're given, that's the key, right? It doesn't work. It's way too big. The angle, there's too much angle. Next one, same concept. So again, we're going to draw it out. I can do that better. There we go. Okay, so ABC doesn't matter. This is 96. B is 3, and A is 24. So we solve it like we normally do. What do we have? We have the B's again. I have angle B and side B. So I'm going to do 3 over sine of 96. And then we have, we could find the A. So 24 over sine of A. So cross multiply. 24 sine of 96 equals 3 sine of A. 5 by 3. So I'm going to get 24. I could do that. 8 sine of 96 equals, these reduce, sine of A. So all we do now is inverse sine both sides. And if you put this in your calculator, let me show you because it's important. In this case, let's see what 8 sine of 96 is. That's 7.96. So remember, if you're bigger than 1, you can't do it. It's not a triangle. So if I did inverse sine of that answer, it's going to say error, because it's not possible. Error domain. This doesn't work. So, no triangle. So there's no triangles here. Didn't work. You try to solve for the first one. It didn't work, so you have no triangle. So no solution there. So we had one triangle, we had 0 triangles, and look at all this space. It's probably a 2 triangle one. So let's start. So there we go. Look at that, give myself a little space. I could learn. So this is A, B, and C. B is 22, 16.8 over here. And then A is 22.42. Wow, getting very specific. Okay, so those are our sides. And once again, we have all the B's. And we're looking for A. So 22 over 16.8 sine of, I messed that up, sorry guys. That's 16.8 over sine of 22 equals 22.42 over sine of A. We'll cross multiply. And I get 16.8 sine of A equals 22.42 sine of 22 divided by 16.8. Cancels out. Let's do arc sine. I'll save myself a little space here. Sine inverse. When you put that into your calculator, again, I'm going to save a little space, not showing you. You get 29.99. Let's just call it 30 for ease. So 30 degrees. So the first angle I found here was 30 degrees. Now let's talk about the second triangle. Remember, we always want to, if we find one triangle, we want to assume there's a second triangle. So how does triangle 2 work? Well, it has the same given as 22, it has 22.42, 16.8, and then instead of the 30 right here, we're pretty much finding this part right there. Instead of the 30, we got to do 180 minus 30, which would give me 150. Now, does this make a triangle? Does this triangle work? It actually does, right? I could find this missing angle here. Last time we did this, it was too big, it was over 180, I would get a negative angle. But in this case, I could do 180 minus 22 minus 150. Now I get 8 degrees. Most of the time with the second triangle, the angle is very, very small. So I get 8 degrees. So there actually is a triangle 2, and we got to solve triangle 2. So we got to find the missing side, which would just be, use our law of signs again. So I always like to use the given that they gave us. So 16.8 over sine of 22 is going to equal c over sine of 8. Multiply both sides by sine of 8. And then these cancel, and I get c equals about 6.2. So that's the outside. So that's the second triangle solved, right? So remember, all we have to do to find the second triangle is do 180 minus the first angle you find, which is 150. Plug it there. See if you can find the second triangle. So 180 minus the two sides you have remaining, you get 8 degrees. So yeah, it works. So now you just solve it like normal. Use all the signs. C equals 6.2. Now I go back up here and not forget my first triangle. So my angle is 30, right? Instead of 150, it's 30. I could find C the exact same way. A lot of times over here we call it C prime for the second triangle. But for the first triangle, find it the exact same way. 180 minus 30 minus 22. Give me 148. That's not right. Sorry. It'll get me 128. Let's subtract it from 200, not 180. So it gets me 128 degrees. Like that. And then we can find the missing side. So all we do, whoops. The law of signs again. So we have, use a given, 16.8 over sine of 22 equals x I'll use over sine of 128. And then, right, because we're solving for this side, so just multiply both sides by sine of 128. If you do that, you get 35.3. That's the missing side. And that's a two triangle case. Right? I always just assume there's two triangles. Right? That's kind of the way I do these. I solve it like, first I solve it like normal. And if you can't solve it, you can throw triangles like we did here. If you could solve it, then assume there's two triangles. So you do 180 minus the first angle you find. And if it doesn't work, like here it was too big, my two angles I had were 49 and 144. 180 minus that will give me a negative, so only one triangle. If it actually works, then you have two triangles, like you did here. Okay, let's move on. So this wants to solve the triangle here. Now, if you look at this one, there's two angles. So in that case, there's only one triangle. So it's only when you have two sides and one angle that you might have two triangles. In this case, you have two angles, automatically one triangle. And it's easy enough to find this angle right there, right? Just gonna do 180 minus 70 minus 36. And that gets me 74. So you have 74 degrees. And now, we're going to do law of signs, right? Do we have any pairs? We only have one pair, that's L. So 5 and 74 is our pair. So 5 over sine of 74 is going to equal, you can solve for anyone you want. I'll solve for the m first, I guess. We'll do that one. So we do m over sine of 70. So we're just multiply both sides by sine of 70. These cancel. Plug in your calculator, and you should get about 4.9, right? Roughly. From rounding to the nearest thousandth, or tenths, sorry. So this is 4.9. So we got one side to go. We're only missing n now. I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do 5, our given pair. I always like to use a given. I just think it's more secure. Over n. So n over sine of 36. Multiply both sides by sine of 36. These cancel out. N equals 3.06. I guess I'm going to the nearest hundredth in that case. I'm all over the place. I want the nearest tenth, right? So n is equal to 3.1. That should be the answer. There we go. And then just some review problems. I think it was pretty much out of the law of sine. So just let's do these real quick. If the square root of x plus 5 plus 1 equals 4, what's the value of x? A little review. So let's subtract 1 from both sides. So x plus 5 equals 3. We're going to square both sides. This is getting ready for the final. It's coming up. Then we subtract 4. X equals 5. What, I subtract 4 I do that all the time. I already did the math in my head. I subtracted 9 from 5 in my head and got 4. Oh, that was bad. So 4. Next one. Remember, the best way to do this is rewrite it. It's 27 x to the third, so 1/6. Now, even then, like, it's 27 there's nothing that breaks down 27. We could rewrite 27. That's 3 cubed x to the third, so 1/6. If you distribute now, you get 3 to the 3 over 6, x to the 3 over 6, which gets me 3 to the 1/2, x to the 1/2. I guess that's also the same thing as saying square root of 3x. That's a funky one. Which of the following functions is exponential decay? Remember, decay is when, if you have a formula, a b to the x, it's when b is less than 1. So the only one that has b less than 1 here would be b. All the rest are gross. What is the slope of the line parallel to this? Well, remember, parallel means same slope. So I got to find the slope of this guy first. Distribute that a little bit. I mean, I already know the slope is, but for everybody else. I can move the 2 over, but it doesn't really matter. The slope is 4. So anything that has a slope of 4, I guess that'll just be 4. A little more review. Clarence graphed the equation of a quadratic equation. ht equals that. To model the flight of a firework, the parabola shows the height in feet of the firework t seconds after it was launched. What is the vertex of the parabola? Well, the vertex would be right there. Based on just the graph, it looks like 4 and 250. That's probably not right though. So let's actually do mathematically. So h of t would equal negative 16t squared plus 128t. Now remember, the way you find the x in the vertex is the axis of symmetry formula, negative b over 2a. So in this case, it would be negative 128 over 2 times negative 16. So if you simplify that, you should get 4. And if you plug that into the equation, you actually do get 4 and 250. Well, I did all that work for nothing. You can't always assume the graph's right, though. What does a vertex on parabola represent? Well, it represents, the y value represents the max height is 250. The x value represents how long it took to get there. Time to reach max height. So 4 seconds. So it took 4 seconds to reach the max height, and the max height is 250. How long does firework in the air before it lands? Based on the graph, just based on the graph alone, 8 seconds, right? That's where it falls. Okay, next one. What is the remainder when x cubed minus 7x plus 5 is divided by x plus 3? The remainder theorem. Remember, there's 2 ways to find the remainder. One is you could just plug in the reciprocal. Now it's x plus 3, so in that case we use the opposite, negative 3. But you could sub in negative 3 into this, and that'll get you the remainder. So the remainder theorem says. Other way to do this is by syntactic division. Good old friend. Now remember, you have to go in order. So there's x cubed. There should be an x squared. So plus 0x squared minus 7x plus 5. So just like 1, 0, -7, 5. And since it is in binomial form, you have to use inside opposite -3. Yeah, here. This is where we brought the first one down. 1, multiply across. So -3, add down, -3, multiply across, 9, add down, 2, multiply across, add down, -1. That's our remainder. Alright, so you could sub the -3 into this and see what you get, or do something like division. Determine whether each of the following situations calls for a survey, observation study, or experiment. Explain the process. Caroline wants to find out if a particular plant food helps plants grow faster than water. So that would I would do an experiment on that. Do half with the plant food, half without, would be my guess. That's the way I would do it. Right. So you need a control group and then you need an experimental group. So use half and half and then see if it works. Allison wants to find opinions on her favorite candidates in the upcoming student council election. I guess on that you do a survey. Easiest way. And that's the vid.